Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस ऑफ चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा मैया की, यमुना मैया की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की, प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। तो हरे कृष्णा, हम पढ़ रहे हैं श्रीमद्-भागवतम का प्रथम स्कंद 12वां अध्याय और श्लोक संख्या है 5। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। संपदा कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। माताजी कृतवो लोका महिषी भ्रातरो मही। जम्बुद्वीपाधिपत्यं च यशश्च त्रिदिवं गतम्। शब्दार्थ संपदः ऐश्वर्य कृतवः यज्ञ लोका भावी गंतव्य महिषी रानियां भ्रातरः भाई, मही, पृथ्वी, जम्बुद्वीप, वह मंडल या ग्रह जिसमें हम रह रहे हैं। आधिपत्यम, सार्वभौम आधिपत्य, च भी, यशः, ख्याति, च तथा, त्रिदिवम, स्वर्ग लोकों तक, गतम, व्याप्त। अनुवाद तथा तात्पर्य कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी के द्वारा। श्रील प्रभुपाद की। महाराज युधिष्ठिर की सांसारिक उपलब्धियों, सद्गति प्राप्त करने के लिए किए जाने वाले यज्ञों, उनकी महारानी, उनके पराक्रमी भाइयों, उनके विस्तृत भूभाग, पृथ्वी ग्रह पर उनका सार्वभौम आधिपत्य तथा उनकी ख्याति इत्यादि के समाचार स्वर्गलोक तक पहुँच गए। तात्पर्य, केवल धनी तथा महान पुरुष का ही नाम तथा यश संपूर्ण विश्व में विख्यात होता है। महाराज युधिष्ठिर का नाम तथा यश उनके उत्तम शासन, भौतिक उपलब्धियों, महिमामयी पत्नी द्रौपदी, अपने भाइयों भीम तथा अर्जुन के पराक्रम तथा जम्बूद्वीप नाम से विख्यात विधि में अपनी सार्वभौम शक्ति के कारण स्वर्गलोक तक पहुँच चुके थे। यहाँ लोका शब्द महत्वपूर्ण है। भौतिक तथा आध्यात्मिक आकाश में विभिन्न लोक बिखरे हुए हैं। इस जीवन में कोई भी व्यक्ति अपने कर्म से उन तक पहुंच सकता है। जैसा कि श्रीमद् भगवत गीता में भी, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता 9वां अध्याय 25वें श्लोक में कहा गया है, वहाँ पर कोई बलपूर्वक प्रवेश नहीं कर सकता। जिन क्षुद्र भौतिक विज्ञानियों तथा अभियंताओं ने बाह्य अंतरिक्ष में कुछ हजार मील दूरी तक यात्रा करने के यान खोज निकाले हैं, उन्हें वहां प्रवेश करने की अनुमति नहीं दी जाएगी। उत्तम लोकों में पहुंचने की विधि यह नहीं है। मनुष्य को चाहिए कि यज्ञ तथा सेवा के द्वारा ऐसे सुखी लोकों में प्रवेश करने का पात्र बने। जो पग पग पर पापी जीवन बिताते हैं, वे पशु जीवन में गिरकर अधिकाधिक भौतिक दुख भोगने की ही आशा कर सकते हैं। और श्रीमद् भगवत गीता 16वें अध्याय 19वें श्लोक में भी इसका उल्लेख है। महाराज युधिष्ठिर के उत्तम यज्ञ तथा उनकी योग्यताएं इतनी महान तथा यशपूर्ण थीं कि स्वर्गलोक के निवासी भी उन्हें अपने में से एक मानकर उनका स्वागत करने को तैयार थे। कृपया अनुवाद दोहराइए। महाराज युधिष्ठिर की सांसारिक उपलब्धियों, सद्गति प्राप्त करने के लिए किए जाने वाले यज्ञों, उनकी महारानी, उनके पराक्रमी भाइयों, उनके विस्तृत भूभाग, पृथ्वी ग्रह पर उनका सार्वभौम आधिपत्य तथा उनकी ख्याति इत्यादि के समाचार स्वर्गलोक तक पहुँच गए। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने। श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्दये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाद्या श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्तिविग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्ताध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बुदे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते गौर आविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णवा सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामने गौरतुष्ये नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तिरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पङ्गुर्मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ देव्याद्विन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रेष्ठालवे सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमद्रासरसारम्भे वंशे वटतटे स्थिता कर्षन्वेणुस्वनिर्गोपिर्गोपीनाथ श्रीयस्तुना तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण English. Okay. So before starting, I will seek blessings of all the senior devotees here. Especially there are a lot of senior devotees I see here. So please bless me so that I can speak something worthwhile on this topic. So we are discussing this chapter since 3-4 days, and we see in the third sloka of this chapter where Saunakadi rishis have asked some questions to Suta Goswami. We know in the second chapter, in first chapter itself, they asked 6 questions, and then again, because that topic was diverted somewhere else, so then again they reminded the original questions of which they asked. So in this verse, if we see the third verse, they're asking, we all respectfully want to hear about Pariksit Maharaj, to whom Sukadeva Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on to this matter. Second verse. How was the great Emperor Pariksit, who was a highly intelligent and great devotee, born in that womb? How did his death take place, and what did he achieve after his death? So we know that this Suta Goswami again asked this question to Saunakadi Rishi again asked this question to Suta Goswami, that what did Pariksit Maharaj do? So actually they want to renew, just like other day Bhame Prabhu was discussing this verse. So again this subject matter was renewed because that matter was somewhere lost. So they want to know more about Pariksit Maharaj. So now if we see this 4th verse and 5th verse and 6th verse today which we are discussing, but here you see it is all about Yudhishthira Maharaj. However, Saunakadi Rishi wanted to know about Pariksit Maharaj, but if we see his 4th and 5th and 6th verse, Suta Goswami is relating about Yudhishthira Maharaj. So how is so? Like it is not at all relevant. We may think it is not at all relevant to the topic, to the questions which they asked, but actually it is relevant. Why so? Because they asked about Pariksit Maharaj, but how can we tell something about Pariksit Maharaj without speaking of Yudhishthira Maharaj? So that's why Suta Goswami is telling the greatness of Pariksit Maharaj, how great was he, because of which his grandson was pure devotee of the Lord. So we see in this verse, listen. So news even reached the celestial planets about Yudhishthira Maharaj's worldly possessions the sacrifices by which he could attain a better destination, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, and his fame, etc. So his worldly possessions, we will see in the next sloka, that his worldly possessions were so much so that even the denizens of heaven, they were also aspiring to have that kind of opulence. So he had that kind of opulence. And then he did yagyas. We know Yudhishthira Maharaj had done 3 Ashwamedh yagyas. However, we know Indra had done already 100 yagya, Ashwamedh yagya. But the fame which he acquired, Yudhishthira Maharaj acquired, it was much more than the fame of Indra. And they were also they were discussing about Yudhishthira Maharaj. And also we know, because Yudhishthira Maharaj had those qualities, we know how much sense controlled he was. We also know this story of when they were in Agyatwas, exile. After 12 years of exile, they were in Agyatwas. In forest only. When they were in Banvas for 12 years. So one time, they were feeling thirsty. So then Yudhishthira Maharaj sent Nakula to see some water place. And then he goes there to water reservoir. But before drinking the water, he heard a voice. So that voice says that, please answer my questions before taking some water. But he was feeling too thirsty, he couldn't even care about that voice. And then as soon as he tried to take water, he immediately fainted. And then he couldn't come for a long time. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj was in anxiety. What happened? Then he sent Arjuna, and then Arjuna also did the same thing, because he was also feeling too thirsty, and he also tried to take water and he also fainted. So same thing happened to all the 4 brothers. Then subsequently he sent to Sahadeva and then Bhima. All were fainted. So then finally Yudhishthira Maharaj was in so much anxiety. What happened? Nobody is coming back. So then he personally goes. And then Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramaya ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So then when Maharaj Yudhishthira personally goes there, he also hears the same voice. But he was also feeling too thirsty. It's not that he was not thirsty. He was also feeling so much thirsty. But as soon as he hears the voice, he was ready to answer the questions. So this is the first thing we can understand, that how much he was sense controlled. However, the other brothers of Yudhishthira Maharaj, they couldn't control their thirst. But Yudhishthira Maharaj was ready to answer not only one question, but so many questions he answered. So many questions Yaksha asked, and he answered in a proper way. So this is the first thing which we understand, that how he was sense controlled. And then he answered all the questions. Then Yaksha was very happy. Then he asked him, I can make your one brother alive. So which one you want to make alive? Then Yudhishthira Maharaj says, let Nakula be alive. Then this Yaksha was very much, he was just thinking that how come you are telling about Nakula? You have Arjuna, you have Bhima, who are so Bhima is like so big warrior, and then Arjuna is having Gandhi. He is just such a fighter, military. They have a lot of military power. Why only did you tell about Nakula? And then Yudhishthira Maharaj very intelligently replies that actually my father had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. So I am there from Kunti Maharani. So there should be some another one from Madri. So hearing this answer, this Yaksha became very happy, and then he says, let all your brothers be alive. And then all his brothers were alive. So we see that how Yudhishthira Maharaj was not only sense controlled, but how much he was intelligent, how much intelligently he used to take decision. We may think that, battle of Kurukshetra was, the main warriors was Bhima and Arjuna. So then how come how come Yudhishthira Maharaj became the king? But actually, to rule a kingdom, it's not that only the military power we need, but we need the decision power, how much intelligently a king is taking decision. And we know that Yudhishthira Maharaj is himself dharma personified. So he was very much qualified to become a king. And then it is still told about his queen. Mahisi, the word used is here Mahisi, means queen. So queen specifically refers to Draupadi Maharani. So Draupadi Maharani was born from a sacrifice, we know. How many of us have born from sacrifice? None of us. But Draupadi Maharani was so much qualified that she had born from a sacrifice. And then she was not only, or she is not ordinary lady. She is a very close friend of Krishna. Sometimes, because she is so much dear, so sometimes even Draupadi is also called as Krishna, because she is so close to Krishna. So, and also she is as good as, like Krishna used to treat her as her sister herself. Like Subhadra, how he used to treat. Similarly, Krishna used to treat Draupadi Maharani also as his sister. And then again it is told about stalwart brothers. So he had so many brothers. He has very great. He has brothers who were very great. Just like each of discussing about each of them. Just like we know Arjuna. How much Arjuna was great. He could even defeat. He could even defeat the demon which even Indra couldn't defeat. We know this Nivat Kavachas, 60,000 Nivat Kavacha, who were even difficult for Indra to defeat, but then Arjuna could defeat them. And then and then we know even Shiva, Lord Shiva was pleased when Lord Shiva personally came to fight with Arjuna. So, and Lord Shiva was pleased and he gave him Pasupatastra. And not only he is a fighter, but he is a pure devotee. We know that Krishna says, Bhakto asimi sakha cheti rahasyam Bhakto asimi sakha cheti. So he was not only a fighter, but he was a great devotee and sakha of the Lord. So that's why Krishna chose him. How many of us, Krishna did not choose any of us, but Krishna chose Arjuna because he was a pure devotee. Out of all the Pandavas, he chose only Arjuna. We can understand. He was such a pure devotee. Now, we may not understand now, how we are saying that Krishna chose Arjuna. But actually, we properly analyze, this is very great thing. It is something like this, all of us, like in material where people want to get government job. Isn't it? People want to get into government jobs. They don't like private jobs, but then everyone fills a form, 15 lakhs forms are filled and out of which only 40 seats are there. So much of competition. But then if you just consider, then if himself, Narendra Modi comes and says, okay, you are appointed, you are the only one, I am appointing you. How much great is it? So similarly, out of everyone, Krishna appointed Arjuna, that you are my pure devotee, I will tell you the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. So that is how was Arjuna. And then Bhima, we know Bhima, he was having the strength of 10,000 elephants. He was such a great. And also Arjuna was not only like fighter, but he was even sense controlled. We know that when he defeated these Nivat Kavachas, then Indra gave him a proposal. Okay, you can enjoy Urvasi. But then when he went to Urvasi and Urvasi also proposed him, then he told, no, you are like my mother. So he was such a sense controlled. And he could even control the wind. He could even control the wind. So that much powerful and sense controlled and pure devotee was Arjuna. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj, we already talked. And then Sahadev. Sahadev was also very beautiful, very handsome. He was counted as one of the handsome men. And he was also having so much of knowledge about how to take care of cows, all these things. He had lot of knowledge. So each of his brothers were very great, very famous. So it is something like this. Then just like even in material world, we see that if someone is so great, then we start talking about him. But it is not talking about the greatness. They are talking that how much great he was. Even after so much great, he was so humble. It is written here. Yeah, in the last sloka, we see Nispraha Sarva Kamebhya, means he was not having his personal ambitions. He was free from all of his personal desires. So even after, like, he is having lot of opulence, he is so great, his brothers are great, his wife is great, and he is having lot of bright kingdom, but still he was not having his personal ambitions. So, let's consider any person in this world. any person, is anyone is being talked in heaven? उनका चर्चा स्वर्ग में हो रहा है? No one is being, like in heaven, no one will discuss about earthly planet, you know. Even it is said in Shastras that those people do not even come here for, giving up their, like, to urine and, to pass stool. They cannot come even here because for an earthly planet, because it is so dirty. But the same people are discussing about Yudhishthira Maharaj. And it is said that why they don't come? Like, let's take example. Just like if you go to a place where so many hawks are staying. So if we go, we have to pass from there. We immediately, put up our dhoti and we are very careful to touch the ground. So similarly, those denizens of heaven, when they come on the earth, they don't touch the earth because they understand, okay, this is so dirty place. But even those people, those denizens of heaven, are discussing about Yudhishthira Maharaj. That much great he was. So this is there, that he was so much great. But the second part is, even after being so great, he was very humble. He was not having any personal ambitions. So in material world, if you see some people, we talk about them, he is so rich, he is so great, but still he is so humble, he is so down to earth. Don't we talk like this? Sometimes we talk, right? He is so down to earth. I mean, even in that position, even in that position, I would have been there, I would have been so much puffed up. But he is so down to earth. We talk. So similarly, Yudhishthira Maharaj, after having lot of opulence, so but still he was so down to earth and he was not having any personal ambitions. So that is why he is being talked in, his glories are being talked in denizens of heaven, among denizens of heaven. So that is what is the sloka says. Now he was like, we discuss about all his, he was having wife, he was having brothers. All of them were not only, strong, they were having power, but they were so much dedicated to Yudhishthira Maharaj. That word is called Anugata. They were so, like, whatever Yudhishthira Maharaj says, they were following it. So it is very difficult otherwise in this world, if you, even for a guru, like having disciples who is like following everything. So like one time, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was asked that how many disciples you have? Then he told, I have only 4 disciples, 2 hands and 2 feet, because they do whatever I want. Otherwise it's very difficult. It's very difficult for a guru, even disciples, they don't follow everything. But feet and hands, they follow whatever I want. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was having that kind of enjoyment, that kind of, उनके पास ये आनंद था कि his brothers and wife were following him. But still, he was not having personal ambitions. So now, Yudhishthira Maharaj was having lot of opulence, and still he was not having personal ambitions. Now for all of us, like, it's very difficult. We also having not personal ambitions, like we give up some things, but because we don't have only. Like if we say, I am giving up this 3 BHK flat, but I don't have only. What is the meaning of saying, giving up? But something, it doesn't have any meaning if I say like this. If I'm a pauper and I say that, oh no, I am giving up this thing, that what is the use of telling that, because I don't have this. But now Yudhishthira Maharaj had all that, and still he was not even associating. For us, now we devotees, even after let's say we have, but in material enjoyment we don't associate only. For us, we don't give opportunity for us to enjoy. Isn't it? In Brahmachari ashram we have very minimal things, and then we don't give a opportunity for us that we enjoy. But Yudhishthira Maharaj is having every opportunity to enjoy. He was because he was ruling the kingdom. So he was having every opportunity, a lot of luxury and all wives, and then his brothers were so obedient to him. But still, he was not personal ambitious. Now for all of us, we are not having anything, but still we are having, at least for me, I see that we have lot of personal ambitions. So, but Pariksit, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not personally ambitious. And similarly, we read about lot of other devotees like that. Any examples in Shastras we hear that this person was so so wealthy and so opulent, but still he was not personally ambitious. Any other example? Pundarik Vidyanidhi, yes. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. When we know that when Gadadhar Pandit along with Mukunda, he went to meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So seeing the opulence of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was having, just like other day, his Chaitanya Thakur was discussing that point, that he was so opulent. He's chewing the pan, betel nuts, his lips are red, and so many two servants are fanning him, and he is sitting on the, Malmal ka gadda, and everything is so opulent. Seeing that opulence, Gadadhar Pandit got a doubt that how can he be a Vaishnava? Because this is not the symptom of Vaishnava. But then Mukunda, understanding the mood of Gadadhar Pandit, he recited a sloka. Aho vakiyam stanakalakutam jingam seyapayadapi yasadvi leve gatim dhatrichatam tatonyam kamma dayalam saranam rajema. So when he quoted this sloka, and this Pundarik Vidyanidhi was immediately, he went into ecstasy, he was rolling down, and his tears were coming, he tore all his clothes and then bed sheets, everything was topsy-turvy. And then when Gadadhar Pandit saw this, he was so impressed, and he was feeling so guilty that I offended this devotee, a great devotee. And then to get forgiveness from this offense, he surrendered himself. Please accept me as your disciple. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And also we hear about Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was so great. Ambarish Maharaj was the emperor of the whole world, but still he was not personally ambitious. He was using everything for the service of the Lord. We know that Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindayor Vachan Sivakunta Gudana Vadane Karau Harer Mandir Marjanadi Suchitam Chakarachu Sat Kathodai. And like any other limbs, he was using for the service of the Lord. So Pariksit Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj. Any other example? Sad Goswamis, yes, we know about Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, even Raghunath Das Goswami. They were so opulent. Sorry? It is said their opulence was like Indra. Raghunath Das Goswami, his opulence was like Indra, and his wife is also as beautiful as Sachi Devi. But then still they were not personally ambitious. So that's why it is told that Pariksit Maharaj was having those qualities, and that's why in future, now in subsequent slokas, we will see from 7th sloka, we will see that how Pariksit Maharaj could turn out to be a pure devotee, because he was a grandson of this Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now we understand that because he took birth in such a great family, great lineage, that's why he is a pure devotee. We understand, there are other examples also, that when someone has taken birth in a family of devotee, he is a devotee. Any example like this? A person having taken birth in a family of a devotee, and he also became a devotee. Bali Maharaj was born in the family of Prahlad Maharaj, so he was also a devotee. Sorry? Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was not born. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada was born in a family in God Mohan Day, who was a pure devotee. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born with Bhakti Vinod, who was a pure devotee. So this we understand because this is not the standard. We cannot standardize this, okay, you have taken birth in a pure devotee family, then you can become a pure devotee. But this can be one criteria. Because on the other hand, we see so many other examples where father is a pure devotee, but son is not pure devotee. Example? Huh? Sorry? Viruchan. Okay. Srila Prabhupada, yeah, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's son himself. Other examples? We know about this Vena. His father was Anga. Anga, Anga was a pure devotee, and this Vena became so cruel, so much so that the Anga had to, retire himself, and he went to forest without informing anyone. So Anga was a pure devotee. On the other hand, Vena became so cruel. Other examples? Advaitacharya's son was a devotee. Two other, yeah. They were not devotees. Yes, Prabhuji. He already told. Virochan. Also we hear in Bhagavatam, what is called Mahatmya, Dundukari. Dundakari is the son of Atmaram. Atmaram only, na? Atmadev. Atmadev is a pure devotee and his son was Dundakari. So he was like fully, क्या बोल सकते हैं उसको, एकदम fully materialistic, fully karmi, and Atmadev is a pure devotee. So like this we hear so many examples where father is a devotee but son is a non-devotee. So here now we cannot standardize anything कि अगर father devotee है तो son भी devotee होगा, या father devotee नहीं है तो son भी devotee नहीं होगा. Because on the other hand we hear example of Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakasipu is a non-devotee but Prahlad Maharaj is himself a devotee. So we cannot standardize this, but this is a criteria that because Pariksit Maharaj is the grandson of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is so great. So similarly, Pariksit Maharaj also, right from his birth, he was a pure devotee. This is the criteria, one criteria. So now we hear about Yudhishthira Maharaj, that his talk is, he's being discussed among the denizens of heavens. So similarly, any pure devotee, हमारे बारे में तो बात नहीं होगा, especially about maybe some of you, maybe they may talk, but similarly about every pure devotee, they will talk in heaven. We hear about Srila Prabhupada, that when Srila Prabhupada was here, that so many denizens of heaven used to visit Srila Prabhupada. One time they arranged a program in very big auditorium. I don't know the place name, but then they spent so much. And then very few people came, maybe 10-20 people came. And then Prabhupada disciples was feeling so disappointed that what Prabhupada, we arranged but no one came. And then Prabhupada was telling, Arey, you didn't see. Prabhupada raised his eyebrows and he asked, Arey, you didn't see? There was Nara, there was Brahma, there was so many other demigods, you didn't see them? So even denizens of heaven used to visit Prabhupada when he used to give lecture. And also we know another pastime also, when one time Yamuna Mataji was leading the kirtan, and suddenly Prabhupada started leading. And then Prabhupada went into ecstasy. Then later on, Prabhupada was asked by his disciples that what happened, Prabhupada, suddenly you started leading. And then Prabhupada says, Arey, you didn't see? Narad Muni visited us, so that's why I started leading. So like that. When Prabhupada was here, so all the denizens of heaven also used to visit. We know Prabhupada's first disciple is who? Acharya Prabhakar. So Acharya Prabhakar is first disciple. So he was remembering when they were taking interview for the memories. So he gave a memory of Srila Prabhupada, that one time, because Acharya Prabhakar also got little association of Prabhupada. So he used to remember that Prabhupada used to alone do lot of kirtan in temple hall. And one time at 1 a.m. night, he was hearing some sound of mridanga. So then he went into temple hall, and then Prabhupada alone is himself playing mridanga, and he's singing the bhajans. And then he was so much joy, he was having so much bliss. And then Acharya Prabhakar saw a garland of kadamba trees. Now he remembers that in Jhansi it's not possible to get kadamba trees flowers because they're not there. But then he sees these kadamba flowers. So he wanted to ask Prabhupada that Prabhupada, Swamiji, where is it from? But then he didn't ask. And then next day, second day also same thing happens. Second day he hears the same sound, then he goes to temple hall and he sees Prabhupada is dancing and he's having kadamba flower garland. So then he asks Prabhupada, Swamiji, what is this? Where is it from? This kadamba garland, where is it from? Then Prabhupada says that actually I was singing and I was feeling so much love for Krishna, and Krishna appears himself and he gave me this garland, but I wanted to touch his feet, but immediately Krishna disappears. So this is what is Prabhupada, Prabhupada, like even Lord Krishna is personally coming to give garland to Prabhupada. And then we also know so many pastimes actually, but just to mention a few pastime of Prabhupada. So one time Prabhupada was giving class, and then Prabhupada suddenly stopped speaking in the class, and there are a lot of sannyasis sitting, a lot of disciples of Prabhupada sitting in the class. Now no one could figure out what to do. Now Prabhupada is just silent. So then it became for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. After some time, and Prabhupada was just silent. So after some time, each of them could see that Prabhupada is in ecstasy. Prabhupada is not speaking anything. He was they could understand the symptom of ecstasy in Prabhupada's face. So then, after some time, one of the Prabhupada disciples, sannyasi disciple, he started Namo Om Vishnu Padaya. He started leading kirtan. And then this was a disagreement between some of the other disciples of Prabhupada, that when Prabhupada is in ecstasy, you shouldn't be, we can be just silent. We no need to do kirtan. So this became a disagreement among the disciples of Prabhupada. So then, if class was over, everything is over, but still this became an issue. So then this came to Brahmanand Prabhu, who was the secretary of Prabhupada. So then Brahmanand Prabhu took a courage to ask Srila Prabhupada, and then he went to Prabhupada and he asked, Prabhupada, today you were giving class and suddenly you stopped speaking. So before he could speak anything else, Prabhupada interrupted him and he said, oh, I don't do this very normally, I don't do this very often. So then, because this Brahmanand Prabhu wanted to in the sense he wanted to glorify Prabhupada, so that Prabhupada was exposed having ecstasy in front of everyone. However, pure devotee doesn't want himself to be exposed having ecstasy. We know that. But Prabhupada was exposed. So Prabhupada was feeling so humble and so embarrassed that, I was exposed. So that's why Prabhupada told, no, I don't do this very often. So then, later, after some time, Brahmanand Prabhu asked, no Prabhupada, but you were in ecstasy, but we don't know what to do when you are in ecstasy. Can we chant Hare Krishna or should we be silent? Then Prabhupada said, oh, there is no problem, you can just chant Hare Krishna, what is the problem? So, the point is that Prabhupada was so humble, he having ecstasy in front of everyone, but he was so humble that he doesn't want to show it to anyone. So that is Prabhupada. So as we are talking about this, demigods are visiting, demigods are welcoming Yudhishthira Maharaj to be one of the residents among them. So similarly, one time Prabhupada says, actually I don't know, Prabhupada says, someone says that these beetles are actually different demigods. So then someone asked Prabhupada, is it true that beetles, they are different incarnations of demigods? Then Prabhupada says, we can't say that, but definitely we can say this, that demigods also want to take birth in our movement. So you understand that how much is glorious, that even demigods also want to take birth in the Prabhupada movement. And then he says that, but still we don't know who is that devotee. So that's why we should respect every Vaishnava, because we don't know, anyone may be a demigod. And if we offend any devotee, any new devotee comes and we don't know if he's a demigod, then if we offends him, then it will be a great offense. So that's why Prabhupada says that's why we have to glorify every Vaishnava. So here we end. Any question or comment?
So Chaitanya Prabhuji has told that if a devotee is glorifying you, then he is giving you a poison. And then how should we deal with that?
So one time Prabhupada was asked by his disciples that, Prabhupada, when we go out, lot of people touch our feet. So how to take it? Then Prabhupada told that if people are so much, first thing we shouldn't allow them, but if they are too much insisting, then we can just remember our previous acharyas. So if some devotees are too much glorifying, so first thing we should try to avoid as much as possible. But if it is not possible at all, then we should immediately give credit to Prabhupada. You are telling about me, Prabhupada has done everything. Na? If someone says, okay, you have distributed a lot of books, but what if Prabhupada wouldn't be there? The books will be there? The books wouldn't be there. How could we distribute the books? So everything we can connect to Prabhupada. So this is all credit goes to Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave these transcendental books and he gave these instructions to all of us to distribute these books, and we are able to distribute. So everything we can give credit to Prabhupada. Whenever someone is telling us for anything, we can immediately give credit to Prabhupada.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll end here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हिताय गौ